Let's talk some recruiting with Richard Davenport. Richard, good morning. I want to start with Alabama. I know Clemson has made some headway. I know that Ohio State always has that national brand. To you, I direct this question. Do you think Alabama still has the best national recruiting brand in college football?
I would say yes. I mean, let's just face it, as many national championships as they've won under Saban, and Saban puts guys in the league. So when Alabama extends an offer or contacts you, I tend to think that probably carries more weight than any other school in the country.
At one point in time, Arkansas was a national brand that had just recruit after recruit. That subsided a little bit. Still a strong national brand, still in the SEC, but just not the same of where it was during the Frank Broyles era. Now they have a recruiting class inside the top 20, according to multiple recruiting outlets. Richard, are you surprised in year two that Sam Pittman's already been able to establish a top 20 recruiting class?
No. I mean, obviously, you know, when he came in, he talked about having high expectations and not settling, you know, as far as recruiting, and he's going to demand a lot out of himself and a lot out of his staff. And he saw that, especially we talked about this, especially at Georgia, how, you know, he thought he recruited pretty good at Arkansas, and then he went to Georgia and it was recruiting on steroids. Steroids means that they are constantly contacting the kids and just being relentless. And you know, you heard some stories about Sam hearing from Kirby saying, "Hey, did you talk to so and so's mom yesterday, dad yesterday?" Or just you just have to be constant. Especially if you're Arkansas. I mean, you're not Alabama, you're not Florida, you're not Texas, you're not those schools that are that can just automatically just pick up a phone and get the interest of a kid. You have to work at it, and you have to outwork people.
Richard, what are some of the consequences or the fallout of this unique year where the end of the regular season, championship games, all of that colliding with the early signing period? That's something you normally have the gap or the break, and staffs can focus on recruiting for a little bit. How do you see all of this playing out?
You know, at least for Arkansas, I mean, it really hasn't really not much of an impact. There may be some situations where it is with some other schools, but Arkansas is pretty much done. Maybe another kid here or there, but for Arkansas, they're in good shape going into the early signing period.
Yeah, I mean, they've already got a lot of their work done. I just wonder because, you know, normally you've got, you know, you end your regular season into November, early December. Sometimes you, like Arkansas did last year, you transition with a head coach and you got time. But obviously with basically a dead period for the last 9 months or whatever, it's just been different this year. But playing games right up until kids are going to put their name on the dotted line is not been something we've ever seen before.
No, and hey, you're going to see some misses out of this class. You know, I'm not necessarily saying Arkansas. I'm sure there'll probably be some misses. There are always some misses in each class, but nationally, you're going to see more just because the coaches haven't been able to be on the road since March. You know, since last year, since say last January when they were able to visit schools. So they weren't able to go through spring evaluation period, and a lot of times when they go look at kids during the spring evaluation period, it's the eye test. Does the kid pass the eye test? Is this lineman 6'5", 280 that he says he is, or is he 6'3", 250 or whatever? And then obviously you couldn't have kids on campus during the summer for camps, and that's another way of evaluation, and you usually extend anywhere from 2 to 5, 6 different offers during camp season, and then you go into the season and they weren't able to go out and evaluate on Friday night. So there's going to be some misses, and hey, that translates over to basketball too.
Yeah. How many misses will occur, not because of the talent, because you can evaluate the film, but how many misses will occur just because it's not a fit, because you didn't get to spend time meshing personalities, understanding character, understanding values and what's important, spending time, real time together, that, you know, the things you can't absorb over Zoom, over a FaceTime call. To me, that's where you're going to have as many misses, is the personal connections that aren't there, that, you know, you've been able to build by being on the road in the past.
There's no doubt about that. I agree with you 100%. That's where, you know, obviously that one-on-one contact in the coach's office or walking the campus and talking to a kid, and the parents, you
Yep.
pick up on things that may be a bad thing that makes you think, well, we may need to back off of this kid. And then you just that I think that's huge. I mean, and then kids have talked about that too, not being able to have that one-on-one time with coaches also, and they're going to be making some decisions too that are not good fits. So it's going to go both ways.
Richard Davenport talking a little recruiting here on Recruiting Thursday, brought to you by Breen RV. RD, where should Arkansas be ranked, not just in the SEC, but nationally in the recruiting rankings, in your opinion, every single year?
Top 25, and I think if you want to, if you're like Sam Pittman and this staff, and you want to get the program to where you want it to be, you want to be in the top 20 and top 15 occasionally, and I think that's doable. It's a thing where Arkansas has shown the ability to recruit and go out of state and recruit some high profile kids and beat the Ohio States, beat the Alabamas and Floridas and what have you over the years, but they never really hit back that up with really good seasons. When I say really good seasons, win 9, 10, 11 games, you do that for a couple of years, then your brand gets a little bit more elevated in the kids' minds, and then that kind of opens up things a little bit more in recruiting and helps you close on some of the high-profile kids, and that can help you get into the top 20, top 15 occasionally.
Richard, I had a listener send me this yesterday. I wasn't aware that Cameron Little is the number one kicker according to ESPN. Everyone's been really angry with Scott Fountain and the special teams this season. How much time do you think he needs in order to get the special teams where he wants it?
Well, I think not having COVID will be a big thing, and having some consistency for his guys being at the practice field, and not having, you're about half your starting punt return team being out because of COVID or contract tracing. Obviously, other schools have gone through that too, but I think next year will tell the tale. And then, hey, Scott Fountain has an impressive resume. So I think you kind of look at this year as just one of those years that just, it was just some unlucky circumstances.
Richard, I want to shift the conversation to basketball, man. I saw on ESPN's newest rankings that Nick Smith of Sylvan Hills and then Darian Ford of Magnolia, two young men out of the 2022 recruiting class, have been in the top 60. Nick's in the 40s, and Darian, I think, was in the 50s. They moved up the rankings. We keep talking about this recruiting class, man, and we're kind of watching KK Robinson, Devo Davis have a career high last night, Jalen Williams. How deep is Arkansas high school basketball going to continue to be if Musk keeps this thing rolling?
It's all about getting them on campus as far as the 22 class, and that's the next piece. You already have Joseph Pinion locked in. You got to get those other guys on board too. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Nick Smith, he went from number 52 to 43, and Darian Ford was previously unranked, and he came in the top 60 at number 58. But it's a good time to be the coach at the University of Arkansas because the amount of talent that you have in state. If you miss you don't want to miss on too many of those guys, and I don't think that Coach Muss is going to do that. But one thing that they do very well is they're on a lot of kids. If you do miss on some kids, they're on a lot of kids out of state that also could kind of fill that void if something happens in state.
Yeah, it feels like they've changed the vibe, though, that, Arkansas is the cool place in states to go. You got to go. You at least got to consider it that, there's no need to really look first out of state anymore. It seems like the feel around the program has changed.
I think so. And then I think, if Moses Moody continues to have a good season, that's going to entice the in-state guys to stay, and the other guys too. If they have success, that's going to motivate some of the in-state guys to maybe, if they were on the border, on the fence as far as Arkansas, maybe that helps them sway them towards Arkansas and think, hey, I don't have to go out of state to be successful and to go to a high-profile program. I can do it here.
Richard, last question before we let you go. Moses Moody has been really finding himself these last few games. I saw a late mock draft yesterday on the big lead that had him at 14 in the upcoming NBA draft. Do you think Moses Moody was under recruited in college for college basketball this past season?
I think time will tell. I mean, see what happens in the SEC competition. But obviously, Moses was always somebody that had a high basketball IQ, good athleticism, and had the game. And obviously, he played at a prep school that was loaded with talent. And if he was maybe at a lesser school, he might have been putting up 30 points a game. That might have helped his stock a little bit. But at the same time, he wouldn't have been playing against maybe the level of competition either that he played in prep school. Mm-hmm. So I think he probably was ranked about right. But I guess we're going to see.
We'll talk more Arkansas basketball coming up. Richard, we really appreciate your time this morning, and this has been the first time in a while we hadn't had a food question for you, so I'll have one of those for you next week. Okay, man?
All right, buddy. Proud of you on the taco thing, man.
Thanks.
Maybe his biggest win ever.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure your parents had a tear in their eyes.
I was talking to my dad last night. He was very proud, Richard. Yeah. He was very proud.
That's my boy. Yeah.
All right, RD. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right, buddy.